I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as Victor's hands clamped around my throat like a vice forged in hell. His face, the one I'd kissed goodnight for 8 years, twisted into something monstrous, whispering, "This is for the money. Stella, nothing personal." And just like that, the world went black. My last thought a scream of betrayal that echoed into nothingness. But death isn't the end. It's a goddamn reset button if you're lucky, or cursed, depending on how you look at it. I woke up gasping in my own bed. Sheets tangled around me like restraints. The alarm clock blinking 7:14 a.m. on that cursed Tuesday morning, the day of the will reading for my late father's estate. My heart hammered as memories crashed in, the poison in my coffee, Victor's alibi with his parents, the way they'd all conspired to erase me for a slice of the Hawthorne fortune. I was back.
重生,
as the old stories called it. A second chance to bury them before they buried me. I bolted upright, staring at my reflection in the vanity mirror across the room. Same hazel eyes. Same faint scar on my chin from that biking accident in college. But those eyes burned now with a fire they hadn't known in life or death. Victor snored beside me, oblivious, his arms slung possessively over the pillow where my head should have been. I wanted to smash his skull in right then, feel the crunch under my fist.
But no.
Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a marathon of calculated agony. They'd pay. Every last one of them, starting with the will reading that sealed my fate the first time. I slipped out of bed, padding barefoot to the kitchen in our sprawling McMansion in suburban Chicago. Ironic. How the American dream looked so much like a gilded cage. The coffee maker hummed to life, and I poured a mug, black as my soul felt now. As the steam rose, I replayed it all. Dad's death 6 months ago from a sudden aneurysm, leaving me as only heir to the Hawthorne tech empire, worth north of $50 million. Victor's family, the sniveling Hargroves, his widowed mother, Evelyn, with her pearl-clutching hypocrisy, and his father, Reginald, the retired banker who'd always eyed my inheritance like a starving wolf, had wormed their way in. They'd convinced Victor I was unstable, that the money would ruin me. Lies. All of it. The truth? Reginald had cooked the books at his firm.
Embezzling millions.
And Dad had the evidence buried in his safe. But they didn't know I'd found it. Or that I'd hidden copies. In my first life,
Ide confronta Victor Privatelli.
Begged him to choose me over them. He chose the money. Slipped something into my drink during dinner to talk it out. I collapsed. Woke up in the hospital with accidental overdose, but they finished the job at the will reading. Evelyn's tearful testimony about my mental health, Reginald's forged documents painting me as unfit. The judge sided with them, awarding the estate to Victor as my devoted husband. I signed it over in a haze, only to end up dead in a car accident they staged 2 weeks later. Poetic justice? Bullshit. It was theft. Pure and simple.
Now.
With this second shot, I wouldn't beg.
Ide orchestrata.
First step, the lawyer, Mr.
Harlan Graves,
who'd been Dad's confidant. In the original timeline, he'd been too shocked by my decline to fight. This time, I'd prime him. I grabbed my phone, dialing his direct line while Victor stirred upstairs.
Stella?
Early for you, Harlan's gravelly voice answered, laced with that Midwestern warmth. Harlan, it's about the will. Meet me at the office in an hour. Alone. And bring the Hawthorne file, the real one. A pause. Everything all right? Kiddo. Better than ever.
Just.
Trust me. Lives depend on it. I hung up, heart racing. Upstairs, Victor emerged, rumpled in his boxers, flashing that boyish grin that used to melt me. Morning. Gorgeous. Big day, your dad's legacy and all. I forced a smile, handing him coffee. This time, I watched him sip, memorizing the way his throat worked. No poison today.
Not yet. Yeah.
Can't wait to see their faces when it's all mine. He laughed. Clueless. Evelyn's gonna pitch a fit. Thinks we should share for the family. I bit back the urge to laugh maniacally.
Share?
They'd stolen everything. An hour later, I pulled into Harlan's firm downtown. The looped skyscrapers piercing a slate-gray sky like accusatory fingers. His office smelled of old books and leather. A sanctuary amid the chaos. Harlan, silver-haired and sharp as a tack at 68, slid the file across his desk. Your father was explicit. Everything to you?
Stella. No contingencies.
But these Hargroves. They've been calling, hinting at undue influence claims. I nodded, flipping to the tab marked contingencies. There it was, Dad's addendum. Triggered only if I died under suspicious circumstances. It named Harlan as executor, with instructions to investigate and redirect assets to a trust for my unborn child. Wait.
What?
My breath caught. I'd been pregnant? In the first timeline. The autopsy hadn't mentioned it. Grief hit like a freight train. They'd kill my baby too.
Stella.
Harlan leaned forward, concern etching his face. I swallowed hard, steeling myself. Change the will.
Today.
Add a clause. If I contest any transfer, it voids their access entirely. And bury that embezzlement evidence deeper, for now. We're playing the long game. He arched a brow.
You sound
different.
Good.
Because I am. I met his gaze, letting the truth simmer unspoken. They come for me.
Harlan.
We make sure they choke on it. Back home, the day blurred into prep. I shredded old documents, backed up files to encrypted drives, even visited the OBGYN under a fake name, positive. The baby was real. A secret weapon. Victor would never know until it shattered him. Evening brought the Hargroves to our house for support. Evelyn arrived first. Her Botox-smooth face a mask of faux sympathy. Hugging me too tight. Darling. This must be so hard. Your father. Gone too soon. Her eyes flicked to my untouched wine glass, subtle probe for weakness. Reginald followed, clapping Victor on the back. His handshake with me lingering like a threat.
Stella.
We're family now. Whatever happens tomorrow, we'll weather it together. I smiled sweetly, pouring scotch. Absolutely. To family. As they clinked glasses, I imagined the poison I'd slip in next time, not lethal. Just enough to make them question their sanity. That night, as Victor made love to me with mechanical detachment, I plotted. Whispers in the dark, I'd leak Reginald's embezzlement anonymously. Frame it as Victor's doing. Watch Evelyn's empire of socialite lies crumble under IRS audits. And the will? I'd let them demand. Then watch Harlan drop the bomb. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of blood and boardrooms merging into one. Dawn broke. And with it, the reading. Dressed in black Chanel, Dad's favorite, I drove alone, leaving Victor to carpool with his parents. The firm was a hive of polished wood and hushed voices. We gathered in the conference room, me at the head, Hargroves clustered like vultures, Harlan at the podium. He cleared his throat.
Spectacle glinting.
As executor of Elias Hawthorne's estate, I present the final will. Evelyn leaned forward, pearls clicking.
Stella Diar.
We're here for you. But surely Elias considered the family's needs. Reginald nodded. Precisely. We've discussed it, perhaps a trust for Victor? To manage things responsibly. Victor squeezed my hand, his grip clammy. Babe, they're right. We don't want you overwhelmed. I said nothing. Nails digging into my palm. Harlan continued reading. Voice steady. Assets to me. In full. Gasps rippled. Evelyn's face soured. This can't be. Stella's. State. The episodes. Episodes. Harlan echoed mildly. Elaborate. Mrs. Hargrove. She flushed. Well, the drinking, the paranoia. We've seen it.
Lies.
I'd been stone-cold sober, fighting their gaslighting. Victor chimed in. She's been under stress. We just want what's best. Harlan's eyes met mine, a silent cue. Interesting. Because Mr. Hawthorne anticipated such concerns. He slid a folder forward. Exhibit A, medical records confirming Stella's impeccable health. Exhibit B, affidavits from 3 witnesses to your conversations about her fitness, conversations laced with intent to defraud. The room froze. Reginald's jowls quivered. What is this nonsense? Exhibit C, Harlan pressed, voice like gravel under tires. Irrefutable evidence of Reginald Hargrove's embezzlement from First National Bank, $4.2 million, siphoned over 5 years. Mr. Hawthorne held it in escrow as leverage against family interference. Evelyn shrieked. Lies. Elias was a bitter old man, but Harlan wasn't done. He turned to me. And Stella? She's prepared her own codicil. Filed this morning. Any contest voids your access entirely and triggers federal investigation into the Hargrove finances. Victor yanked his hand away. Face ashen.
Stella.
What the hell? I finally spoke. Voice ice. What the hell? You mean like poisoning my coffee? Or staging my overdose?
Yeah.
Victor. I know. The accusation hung. A guillotine blade. Reginald bolted up. Chair scraping. This is extortion. Call it karma, I said, standing tall. You killed me once. Not again. Security, summoned by Harlan, hauled them out amid screams and curses. Evelyn spat. You'll regret this. You gold-digging whore. But her words bounced off. I was armored now. As the doors clicked shut, Harlan handed me the keys, literal and figurative. Your father's proud.
Kid.
And that baby's got a hell of a legacy waiting. I touched my abdomen. A spark of life amid the wreckage. Victory tasted sweet, but hollow. They'd rot in prison. I'd raise our child in peace. Or so I thought. The fallout hit like a Midwest blizzard, swift, unrelenting, burying the Hargroves under avalanches of their own making. By noon, FBI agents swarmed Reginald's golf club haunts, seizing laptops and ledgers while he lawyered up in a panic room that smelled like stale cigars and desperation. Evelyn, ever the drama queen, collapsed in a fainting spell at the country club. her social circle fracturing as whispers of fraud spread faster than her Botox rumors. Victor? He vanished into a bottle at some dive bar in Wrigleyville, leaving voicemails that swung from begging to blaming. Stella, this is insane. We can fix it. Come home. Home. The word curdled in my gut. That McMansion, with its vaulted ceilings and marble counters, had been a stage for their slow poison, literal and figurative. I didn't go back. Instead, I holed up in Dad's old lake house on Lake Michigan, the waves lapping like a metronome to my racing thoughts. Harlan handled the paperwork, transferring the estate seamlessly. Hawthorne Text Board welcomed me back with cautious handshakes, unaware of the near apocalypse I'd averted. The pregnancy test sat on the nightstand, a pink plus sign mocking the void they'd tried to carve in me. Nights were the worst. Flashbacks clawed their way in, Victor's hands on my throat, Evelyn's saccharine lies to the judge, Reginald's smug ledger entries I'd uncovered in Dad's safe. I'd jolt awake, sweating, fingers tracing the bruise that wasn't there anymore. But the rage? That was real. A live wire humming under my skin. Trung Sin wasn't a gift, it was a curse that demanded blood. Or justice. Same difference in the dead of night. 2 weeks in, the first crack appeared. A burner phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Harlan's doing? Untraceable.
Stella.
It's me. They've bonded out. Reginald's pushing a countersuit, claiming coercion. Evelyn's spinning tales to the press. Devastated daughter-in-law frames innocent family. Victor's talking to reporters too. I gripped the phone, knuckles white. Let them. The evidence is ironclad. Mostly he hedged. But Victor's got a PI digging. If they find out about the baby. My hand flew to my belly, now a subtle swell under loose sweaters. In the first timeline, the pregnancy had been early, undetected until autopsy. This time, it was my ace, the ultimate twist. Paternity test would nail Victor as the father, tying him irrevocably to the fraud if he fought the will. But revealing it now, too soon. It'd make me vulnerable, a target for their desperation. Stall them, I said. And Harlan, get me dirt. Real dirt. On Evelyn's pill habit, the opioids she's been fencing through her charity events. He chuckled darkly. Already on it. Your old man's ghost is smiling. I hung up, staring out at the choppy lake. The wind whipped whitecaps, mirroring the storm inside. Decisions loomed, the kind that'd make therapists rich and priests question their faith. Do I expose Victor's affair, the one with his assistant that started the rot? Leak it anonymously? Watch his career implode before the trial? Or play dirtier? Fabricate evidence planting the poison attempt on Evelyn, pitting them against each other? The controversial pull tugged hard. American justice was a circus, all spectacle and spin. Why not direct the show? I wasn't a saint. Death had stripped that illusion. But crossing into forgery? That gray area where self-defense blurred into offense, it itched like a bad tattoo. Morning brought action. I drove to Chicago, hood up against the November chill, meeting my contact at a hole-in-the-wall diner off Michigan Avenue. Lena, a hacker from my college days, slid into the booth, laptop scarred from too many close calls.
Stella Hawthorne? Shit. You're a ghost story now.
Front page of the Trib. Make me one in real life, I said, sliding an envelope, half the fee in cash. Victor's emails. Financials. Tie them to the embezzlement. She eyed me, This skirts the law.
Stell.
You sure? Skirts? Honey. I'm tap dancing on it. We clinked coffee mugs, sealing the pact. As she dove into code, I felt the first thrill of power, not the vengeful kind, but the reclaiming. Dad's empire wasn't just money. It was code. Algorithms. The digital veins of progress. I'd protect it. For him. For the kid. Back at the lake house. Isolation bred paranoia. Footsteps in the woods. A car idling too long on the access road. I installed cameras. Slept with a Glock under the pillow. Dad's old service piece from his army days. Legal in Illinois. But the weight of it? A reminder that survival wasn't pretty. Then Victor showed. Dusk. 3 weeks post-reading. I spotted his BMW crawling up the drive, headlights cutting fog like accusatory beams. Heart pounding. I chambered around, waiting in the shadows of the porch. He stumbled out, reeking of bourbon, eyes bloodshot.
Stella.
Please.
Talk to me.
I stepped forward, gun loose at my side, not raised, but visible. Talk, like how you talk to the poison vial guy. He froze, then crumpled against the car. I didn't, I swear. It was Dad. He said it'd just knock you out. Make you sign. Mom pushed. But God. Stell. The money blinded me. Lies. Or half-truths. In the first life. He'd confessed in that final chokehold. But now. Desperation laced his voice, cracking the facade. I lowered the gun slightly. Prove it. He fumbled for his phone, pulling up texts, Reginald's orders. Evelyn's emojis like twisted encouragements.
See?
I deleted most.
But
I kept these. For insurance. My mind reeled. A twist within a twist. Was he turning? Or baiting a trap? The controversial choice loomed. Trust him. Use him to dismantle the parents. Risk betrayal. Or pull the trigger, metaphorically, for now, and end it clean. Inside, I said finally, voice steel. One wrong move. And Harlan gets everything, including the body cam footage I'm rolling. We sat at the scarred oak table, lamplight pooling like spilled secrets. He poured his soul out, the pressure from birth, Reginald's shadow, Evelyn's manipulations. I loved you.
Stell.
Still do. The babies. Ours. The question hung, a grenade pin half pulled. I nodded, watching his face crumple. Regret? Or calculation? Then fight for us. I lied. The words tasting like ash. Testify. Against them. He agreed, tears streaming. As he left at dawn, promising to lawyer up separately. Doubt nod. Had I just handed him a noose or a lifeline? The next days blurred. Lena's hacks confirming Victor's complicity, but also his deletions, evidence of a man hedging bets. The press frenzy peaked. Tabloids dubbing me the Black Widow heiress. Evelyn's opioid ring surfaced via Harlan's leak. Her arrest splashed across CNN. Pearls traded for handcuffs. But Victor?
He ghosted.
No calls. No court filings. Panic set in. I drove to his apartment in Lincoln Park, pounding on the door until a neighbor cracked it. He split. Left a note or something, said sorry and bounced.
Gone.
To his parents? No doubt. The betrayal stung fresh. A knife twist in old wounds. Rage boiled over. That night, alone with the lake's roar, I made the call, full scorched earth. Leak everything. Frame none. Let the courts feast. Trial loomed, a coliseum of suits and subpoenas. I'd testify, gun or no, and bury them alive. The federal courthouse in downtown Chicago loomed like a concrete monolith, its steps slick with January sleet, mirroring the chill in my veins. For months since the reading, and the baby, our daughter, I'd decided on Eliza, after Mom, kicked like a prizefighter. A reminder that some fights were worth every bruise. Harlan walked beside me, briefcase heavy with ammo, ledgers, recordings, Lena's decrypted files. You ready, Stell? This ain't a movie, it's mudslinging. Bring the mud, I muttered, heels clicking defiance.
Inside.
The air hummed with fluorescent buzz and whispered bets. The Hargroves sat at the defense table, a tableau of fallen wasps, Reginald in an ill-fitting suit, jowls sagging like melted wax, Evelyn, makeup caked over jail pallor, dabbing crocodile tears, Victor, between them, eyes downcast, the golden boy tarnished. Our eyes met across the aisle. His lips moved, sorry, but I turned away, stomach twisting. The pregnancy showed now. A deliberate prop. Let them see what they'd nearly erased. Prosecutor Ramirez. A bulldog in pinstripes. Open strong. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about money. It's about murder for profit. The defendants conspired to defraud, poison, and eliminate Stella Hawthorne to seize her $50 million inheritance. Gasps rippled. Evelyn whimpered theatrically. Reginald's lawyer, a slick Fox News alum, countered with bluster, baseless accusations from a vengeful spouse. Mrs. Hargrove was a victim, framed by MS. Hawthorne's instability. Instability. The word ignited me. When my turn came, I took the stand, hand on the Bible feeling like a bad joke. Ramirez led me through it. Dad's death. The will. The coffee that should have been my last. MS. Hawthorne. Describe the betrayal. I leaned into the mic. Voice steady as Lake Michigan ice. Victor Hargrove. My husband of 8 years. Slipped GHB into my drink on October 15th. His text to his father that night. She's out. Get the papers. I woke up in the ER. Accidental overdose. 2 weeks later, at this very will reading, they testified I was suicidal. The judge believed them. I signed over everything. The jury, a mix of blue-collar skeptics and white-collar cynics, leaned in. Victor squirmed, face buried in hands. And the pregnancy? Ramirez pressed. 7 weeks then. Undetected. They killed my child too. A murmur swelled. I didn't cry. Tears were weakness they'd exploited before. Instead, I met Evelyn's gaze. You called me unstable. Said I drank too much. But your pill bottles, oxy, fentanyl, tell a different story. Don't they? Objection overruled. The evidence dropped like bombs. Reginald's ledgers. Evelyn's pharmacy logs. Victor's deleted but recovered texts. Then the twist, the one I'd planted with Harlan's help, but rooted in truth. A video, grainy from the lake house cam. Victor confessing, unprompted. It was Dad's idea. Mom pushed. Chaos erupted. Evelyn lunged, shrieking, liar, he's lying to save himself. Bailiffs wrestled her back. Reginald bellowed for mistrial. Victor? He cracked, bolting from the table, shouting,
Stella.
I had to. They threatened me. The judge hammered for order. But the damage was done. The jury deliberated 3 hours, record time. Guilty on all counts: fraud, attempted murder, conspiracy. Reginald got 25 years.
No parole.
Evelyn, 18. Her charity exposed as affront. Victor,
10.
with a plea deal for testifying against them, his eyes pleading mine as cuffs clicked. But I looked away. Mercy was for the living. He was already dead to me. Outside, flashbulbs popped like gunfire. Reporters swarmed. MS. Hawthorne. Vindication. I paused, hand on my belly. Eliza kicking in triumph. Justice. Finally, Harlan drove me home, to the lake house. Now permanent. You played it controversial.
Stell.
That video? Borderline entrapment. Worth it, I said, watching the city lights fade. The decisions haunted, leaking Victor's affair pre-trial. Tanking his plea leverage?
Nah.
Too petty. But the anonymous tip to his PI. Exposing his own side hustle embezzlement? That was the chef's kiss. Sealing his fate without my fingerprints. Months later, spring thawed the lake, and Eliza arrived screaming into a world I'd clawed back. Harlan stood godfather. The Hawthorne board mentors. Victor's letters piled unopened, begging forgiveness, promising reform from Supermax. I burned them, ashes scattering on the waves. Trung Sin ended not in blood, but rebirth. They rotted, I bloomed. Dad's fortune-funded scholarships. Tech for underdogs, ironic. Turning poison into progress. But late nights, with Eliza's tiny breaths sinking mine, doubt whispered, was it justice? Or just vengeance in a tailored suit? Then a knock. Harlan. Envelope in hand. One more thing from Elias. For the what-ifs. Inside, a letter. Dad's scrawl. Stella girl. If they come for you, fight dirty. Family's what you make it. Love you always. Tears fell then. Hot and healing. I'd made it, us against the world. The Hargroves? Echoes. Fading. And me? Unbreakable. In the end, the lawyer's reveal wasn't just documents. It was me, resurrected, demanding my due. They didn't expect a phoenix. Their mistake.